Go to www.bizbox.co.nz, navigate to the products page and download fixed assets application. Once you've downloaded and installed it, start the application, enter in user as super and password as super as well. Go to system, company setup, enter your own company details in there. Go to utilities, delete all data. That erases all the sample data so you can enter your own. Go to depreciation, look at the asset defaults, and so if you want to prorate it first year or do the full depreciation. Default depreciation type, there's 3 different types of depreciation: straight line, diminishing, and sum of digits. Check with your local legislation whether sum of digits is allowed. Default residual rate, so this is 20% off the tax exclusive price, and that's 20%, but you can change it. Default depreciation, monthly or yearly. Usually it's monthly. Cash or credit, is it a cash supplier or a credit supplier? Asset label, enter the name of the asset label printer if you're using one. Capex threshold is $1,000, which is tax inclusive. GL defaults shows all the GL distribution accounts for the various functions. Next asset subcode is a sequential number that's at the end as a suffix of the asset code. Enter any notes. Asset groups, these are predefined, but you can enter your own if you want. You have code, number, and description. You can sort by of these 3. Let's go into group. So these are boilers and heaters, group number, and then the GL distribution. You can enter your own new accounts if you need to. Now the asset group is attached to categories. So boiler group may have different categories, and so if you're looking for a particular category, you can do a category search. So you've got category, group, description, estimated useful life is 25 years, reducing balance rate is 8%, and the straight line rate is 6%. These are recommended values. You can always override them when you're setting up the asset. And you can add new categories if you need to. Category search, if you're looking for a particular category, you don't know what it is, you can do a search and that'll show you that category is 1227. So once we've done that, there's only one product that you need to worry about. That's the FAM code. It's generic code for fixed assets. I don't think you'll need any other code. You can set up your suppliers. If they don't exist, add it, insert it. Let's have a look at the asset master. So we have 2 assets already set up and 2 assets that have been sold, 2 assets that have been written off. So these are 2 new assets. They were purchased. Let's have a look at the first one, and you'll notice that these 2 assets haven't been invoiced, so that option is not disabled. But you can see that the dispose option is disabled because you cannot dispose of it before you've invoiced it. So let's have a look at this asset. The category is 1, 2, 3, 4. The asset number is automatically generated by the system, and this 0010 is that sequential number we saw in the control file. So that's the asset group, and that's the asset category, and that's the asset number. The asset description, what type of depreciation you'd like, straight line. Current year is 1. There's estimated life is 4 years, and we bought it via a supplier, and it's not invoiced yet. 3 of them, that's the supplier. So this is usually the serial number or the supplier invoice number. It's entirely up to you. Purchase price, and because the sales tax, the tax exclusive value is the book value. Date it was purchased and the date first used. Now it can only be depreciated from the date first used. So it can be the same date it was purchased, or it could be further down the line. Depreciate yearly or monthly. Chosen monthly. Residual value is $300. When it reaches that, you've got to make a decision whether you want to sell it or scrap it. The serial number, capex number, photo of the and the depreciation amounts, notes, general ledger transactions. There's nothing in here at the moment. So you can see the date first used is next month. So when we invoice it, I'll show you what happens anyway. So let's save that. So I'm going to now invoice it. Start invoice, yes. Okay, so that's invoiced. You can see the tick there. And let's have a look at what happens. So in the GL transaction, you can see these 3 transactions have been created. You can also check by the general ledger if you do a trial balance. Right, so you can see the same thing as what was shown there. Okay, let's go back to the fixed asset. Right, so at the moment there is no depreciation because we're still in May, and you start using it in June. Okay, so let's do a period end. Let's close that. Let's do a period end. Yes. Okay, so you log in again. And let's see what it's done. So now we are in the next month, which is June. And we're going to do, let's have a look at the asset master. Change, so GL, still those 3 transactions. There's one depreciation amount. Yes, that's right. Yes, because we are now in June. So now that we're in June, we can see that depreciation has been loaded up, but it won't take effect until these standing journals are posted at month end. So at the end of the month, when these journals, okay, so let's do another period end. So now we go. Let's have a look at the asset master. Now you can see the depreciation amount is now we're in period 4, and year to date is 5268, and general ledger transactions. So this was the depreciation loaded in June, and for July you'll see in the standing journals that's loaded for the next month. So when you do a period end, that'll hit the general ledger. Right, okay. So there'll come a time when you want to dispose of this asset. So you go to the purchase disposal, and whether it's sold or written off, we'll sell it. So this sold date will automatically default to the month end date, so it can change it. And what did you sell it for? So the book value is 151166. Let's put in a value of 1600, which means we're making some gains on the sale. So go OK. Now as you can see, the dispose button is on. Now if I hadn't put in the sold date and the sold amount and all that the dispose button wouldn't have done anything. So let's dispose of it. There we go. So now it's moved away from here and gone to the sold tab. So let's have a look at the GL transactions. So those are all the GL transactions that relate to that asset. and you can always send it to Excel if you want. Takes a few seconds. Oh, here we go. So there you go. So you can see all the general ledger transactions that relate to that asset. You've got it in Excel. So the periods, the year, the reference, narrations, dates, and amounts. Yep, so you can see all that. Okay, so that's basically it. And that's how you maintain an asset. You can print a label, you can print a report if you want. There we go. And then you've got your reports, your asset list, your asset master, retirements, asset groups,